So I went out to do photography yesterday, and during this photo walk I realized why Leica cameras are so popular among street photographers. And we're gonna get into that in this video. A nice thing with having autumn is that the sunrise happens later in the morning. So I actually have a chance to leave the kids at school before going out and catching, almost at least, the golden hour. My focus this week has been to become more comfortable being out with a GoPro strapped to my chest and with a camera in my hand photographing strangers. I still feel very out of my comfort zone at times, but I also feel that with each hour I'm out doing this, I feel more and more relaxed and more comfortable, even though I definitely have quite a few hours left before I feel completely at ease doing this. And to be honest, I don't really know if I ever will be completely at ease doing this. Today I had a bit of an epiphany, I think. I always liked using autofocus so far on my street photography walks, but the more I do it, the more I actually feel limited by it. Don't get me wrong, the autofocus system on the Sony cameras is extremely good. It always nails the focus where you set the focusing point or on someone's eyes. But the problem is that in street photography, you very often have the situation where you're waiting for someone to pass in the frame, someone that comes from the side quickly, walking, running, or on a bike. And then you actually don't have time to lock on the focus and also to press the shutter before the moment has passed. Very often you want to set the focus beforehand. And sure, you can do that with back button autofocus, but then you need to fixate the focusing point on something, and it's not easy when something is not there yet because it's about to pass into the frame. So I actually feel like you have a lot more control if you're using manual focus. So next time I go out, I will probably try a manual focus lens just to see if these kinds of situations become easier. And I think they should be, because then you will be able to zone focus more and set the focus in advance. And I feel like maybe I would like it more because I would be more in control. And I also feel like this is probably one big reason why Leica cameras are so loved by street photographers. Because the more I do street photography, the more I actually feel a yearning for doing manual focus. Another thing I have noticed that bothers me a bit with using autofocus is that very often when I try to shoot reflections in windows or mirrors or shoot through windows, I want to finely tune where I set the focusing point. And no matter how good your autofocus system is, it cannot read your mind. Not yet, at least. So very often the autofocus will set its focus to the place where I don't want it, and obviously you never have this problem with a manual focusing lens. Speaking of Leica cameras, I owned one earlier and tried it for a couple of weeks, but I didn't really like it. It was not for me. I don't think the price tag is justifiable, and also I really like to have an electronic viewfinder. I like to be able to review photos in the camera in a viewfinder, and you cannot really do that on a Leica. Also, I really like to be able to review the depth of field and exposure in the viewfinder as I'm taking the photo, so I will stick to Sony for now. Thanks for watching, and see you soon again.